That is the hardest part of that ring.
For the hardest part of the ring.
Hello and welcome to episode number 9 of Hardest Part of the Ring. This is the podcast where 4 friends get together to discuss the wonder of professional wrestling. I'm Adam, and for now it's just me giving you a little introduction to our Riptide Wrestling special. John and I were very lucky to go and meet up with Josh Bevan, who is the main man at Riptide Wrestling, the Brighton-based indie wrestling promotion. Now, many of you who have listened to the podcast before will know that we have been along to some of the Riptide shows. We're all big fans, and we were really keen to chat to Josh about, how Riptide came about, the challenges of putting on a small indie show in Brighton, their plans for the future, and most importantly, where Jimmy Havoc likes to buy his tables from. So, I hope you guys enjoy this. I'll be back at the end to give you a little bit more information on the little special offer that Josh gives in the podcast, a little teaser there, and also give you an update on what we've got coming up in the future. So, without further ado, I hope you guys enjoy this chat with Josh, and this is the Hardest Part of the Ring Riptide Wrestling special.
Oh, man, shoulder first on the apron.
Okay, good. So we're here today with Josh from Riptide Wrestling. Hello, Josh. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Very well.
Good. I firstly just want to say thank you very much for having us.
Oh, it's a real pleasure. No,
Yeah.
It's a real pleasure.
Yeah, we had, when we set this up, I was thinking that we would have to book a room somewhere, bring our gear, set up our budget podcasting gear. But, when I started planning that, you immediately said, why don't you come to mine? I've got a recording studio, so here we are.
Here we are.
Yeah, so if the sound
HQ.
is particularly good, then it's all down to Josh. And if it's particularly bad, it's also down to Josh.
Yeah,
Okay, it's not
yeah.
harmful.
It goes both ways, that one.
Yeah, okay, cool. So I wanted to start off really just by asking you if it's cool to do a little intro, sort of tell us about Riptide, what Riptide is, how it came about.
Yeah, sure. Forgive any waffle.
Yeah.
I found myself really wanting my friends who weren't like wrestling fans, like just really wanted to get them into some fucking wrestling shows, because the way that I've just found myself being quite evangelical about it.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to get people to go to London and on a fucking Thursday night or something weird, and we know that there's all this amazing wrestling there around and about the place, but people that I know would love it, it's like specific people that would love it, not like, oh, everyone would love this, I think it's great. You're like, no, there's actually people whose interests and sense of humor and all of these things just converge with what's going on in wrestling in the UK right now, and there wasn't anyone doing it. So that kind of alongside a sense of kind of being at home in those environments in terms of like a small to medium size show event, like because of what I do professionally, which is music. Like I get it. Like I'm. That's my area. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So seeing things that I liked at wrestling shows and seeing things that I didn't like at wrestling shows kind of gave me a lot of emotional momentum around the whole subject. And then when it kind of dropped on me that no one was putting it on in Brighton, and I would serve my soul very well for it to be put on in Brighton, and that I had these that was what I was feeling, because I was like, should I train to no God no no, because I had because the performative instinct was like there, and the but no, that's a terrible idea. It's a terrible idea. Of course I'm not gonna.
I've always wanted to get in a ring and just do a couple of flat back bumps, just to see what it feels like. Nothing too heavy. I just wanna even go for a table, actually. Just
you
say that. Just want to know, just to have a reference.
I imagine now you've got pretty much your own ring.
Yeah.
You have had a little go.
I haven't had a go at all. No,
No?
I haven't stepped in the ring.
No, really? Okay, why is that? Just
I just think it's not. without like getting too far into things that I saw that I in a lot of wrestling that I didn't. This isn't all wrestling by any means, and this isn't everyone that runs their company that is involved in a performative role that I'm talking about here.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But in general, the whole, like, everyone's, well, not whole, like, I don't know what, like 70%, 80% of the independent wrestling product out there is like teeming with people that aren't good at what they do, doing stuff because they can, because they, do you know what I mean? Like, you know, either whether you're in people inserting themselves into the show, basically, to the detriment of the show. And it's like, it might be a great night, great show, great event, and all that's happened is like 2% at the beginning of the night, someone's, you know, like from the team has like had a bit of mic time, and it's like, well, that's bandwidth. Like, it's not, you have taken away from the performance there. You know, there's only so much people can experience at one time. Anyway, things like that made me have a desire to do it, and no one was doing it. Now I know very well now the reasons why no one was doing it. It's because it's really challenging to get a venue to that. You know, that's why I would imagine we haven't had, you know, Rev Pro and Progress and a myriad of other wrestling promotions in Brighton, because the venuing situation is very difficult for
it's got
wrestling.
A lot of really small venues, Brighton, but it hasn't got any of those sort of medium-sized venues you'd need to put on a wrestling show.
And the ones that are around, they're the wrong shape. So Concord 2's the wrong shape. The beams come down.
That's the only one I can think of that could be a good, reasonable sort of size.
They used to do it in Hove Town Hall, didn't they?
Which isn't a venue anymore.
Yeah.
There's things, but you're right. It's that medium. It's that medium size that would be great if that was around.
Yeah.
I mean, the venue you've got now looks amazing. Because obviously it's in a church, it feels quite spiritual in a weird way. It looks great.
I mean, that's it. That's the one that I found. You know, that it's great, and you know.
Did you go and scout a few?
Yeah. And you know, credit to them. They were one of the few people that were open about me coming, about just the booking. And they've got themselves a pretty fucking sweet booking. Like, that they're really happy with how it showcases them as a venue. And yeah, they're really great. I love the team at the Brighton. They're great.
It's perfect because it's just so close to the station, isn't it? And in terms of, you know, anybody coming from further afield, out the station, down the hill, and you're there, basically.
Yeah.
When you were looking for a place, did you find any negativity? Like, if you said you were putting on a wrestling show, people would like, no.
Yeah, of course, yeah, totally, yeah. It was a big, long trawl for venues for these events, for sure. Because people are just like, they don't. I mean, generally, it's just the wrong fucking shape. Like, generally, actually, it's very easy for them to say no, because they're like, oh, you could only probably fit, and as well, because, you know, standing areas was a big part of what I wanted to do, was to have loads of standing room, because I think it's awesome. That's like how I like, you know, it's how, me personally, is how I like to watch wrestling, is stood up. I think is.
Yeah, so for anybody who hasn't seen a Riptide show or been to a Riptide show, you've got two standing areas on either side of the ring. You've got obviously the stage at the back where the wrestlers come in. How many seats? Not a huge amount.
No, it's about 30 seats.
30 seats, and then standing around the back of that as well.
Yeah,
and it definitely, it's great for the atmosphere to be able to get that close and personal to the ring and to the wrestlers and be able to see everything that close is great.
How is the viewing experience, by the way? Because, like,
well,
and seriously,
we
feedback.
We sat.
Okay,
We
sat.
Get early, get seats.
Yeah,
Good
and actually, I mean, it's basically because 3 of the 4 of us are quite short, right?
Yeah, well, me
yeah. So I'm tall, and I actually think that next time I'd quite like to stand.
Yeah, me too. Because I just want to especially when, like, obviously during the tables match, they were going out into the ripped, into the crowd.
Yeah.
Just want to be a bit more.
Yeah, and I'm lucky that, whenever I go to gigs and things, because I'm tall, I can always see. And if there's somebody tall in front of me, I can just shift a little bit. If you're a bit shorter, it can be a bit of a nightmare.
I've been humble brag, man. Jesus.
Yeah, I'm a really tall guy. I'm not. But yeah, I mean, the seats were great. Really, really good view on the seats.
Great.
But it just, I felt like I'd be sort of more in the thick of it if I was standing. And that's where most of the chants were coming from, and obviously the interaction with the wrestlers and stuff like that. Although could mean that I'd get a load of champagne in the face.
That might happen.
Is it actually champagne? Or is it water in a champagne bottle? Oh, maybe you don't want to reveal that.
Yeah, well.
I will tell you what. I'll tell you what I know.
Okay.
I will tell you exactly what I know, which is when it was a fresh unopened bottle of champagne.
Okay.
On show day.
Yeah, it probably is then.
And
Why not?
Wasn't otherwise.
Why the hell not? Okay.
Do you watch the shows when they're on, or you just backstage frantically trying to organise stuff?
Show to show. I mean, as we're getting more and more like operationalized, then I'm like, my role is like essentially, like I want to be watching the shows, and I want to be watching the audience and listening to the people, man.
Yeah.
No, as much as I can, and also like, doing certain elements of the lighting and music cues and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I was able to be up there more because we got radios this time, which was nice. And
so you're up on the balcony.
So I was up on the balcony this time. Yep.
Preview.
Yeah, it's good. Previously, like, first event, the debut, Beers, Bands and Wrestling on June the 17th, 2017. I think I was like on the side of the auditorium, front of house position, doing the sound myself. Then we had like a more classic front of house position on the ground floor to the left of the room. On the second show, Riptide returns which was the 3rd of August, 2017.
Good memory.
And then the Storm, I think that was side stage at that point. But then now we've, on the balcony from here on in. Yeah, I found my home up there. So so there's Tom from Riptide. He's running around. There's Nikki and Amy, the stage manager, artist liaison, that are like running the curtain and the dressing room now.
Yeah. And are these people that you knew before from your career? Are they friends? Or draft these people in? Or?
Yeah. So Tom, met through music. Nikki, I worked with her on some cool stuff actually. I worked with her on a guy called Devin Townsend. It's like it's like a symphonic metal guy. But did some like backing vocal gigs with her. And she's great. Great, yeah. Cool.
How long did it take from you to first be like, I'm going to put on a wrestling show, to the actual first show?
I was 5 at the time.
I can literally pinpoint it. I was coming back from Progress. What's it called? Bang the Drum. Galvanized, what it's called.
Yeah,
it was the day after this, basically. This is the first Progress show I've gone to, because basically I only like went to like my first independent wrestling show about this time last year. It was a ICW tour show at the Brooklyn Bowl in the O2, and it was Matt Cross had drawn me there because I essentially delved deeper into wrestling through podcasts, and eventually found some other products with Lucha Underground. But it's basically through Lucha Underground, Matt Cross, Son of Havoc, drew me to that show, and I was like, and then just immediately I was like, oh shit, yeah, okay, yeah, I get it, cool,
yeah.
And then I'd looked at getting Progress tickets. Obviously, the thing that we all know
pretty impossible
now is they're pretty impossible to get. But there were some that were, on sale in Manchester on the 19th of March, and went up to there.
Okay, yeah.
To go and check it out
for those other shows. I've thought about that.
Yeah.
Taking the punt and getting a train up to Manchester or Sheffield or something, or Birmingham.
Cool.
And who was on the card that day? So...
Oh, who was on the card that day? So we had British Strong. Well, we had British Strong Style. Trent Seven, Tyler Bate defeated the South Pacific Power Trip couple.
Yeah.
Oh no, Trip.
Riptide so far, of course.
Well, not all of them. Travis Banks yet to appear.
Okay, yeah. Oh, so sorry, it was the Trip.
It was the Trip. Yeah, it was the Trip. Yeah, no, sorry, it was the Trip. Zach Gibson defeated El Ligero. James Drake defeated Jack Sexsmith. Mark Andrews defeated Will Ospreay.
Wow.
Ringkamp defeated the Hunter Brothers.
Yeah.
Flash Morgan Webster defeated Nathan Cruz. Ginny defeated Nixon Newell. And Pete Dunne defeated Jimmy Havoc. And that was interesting because I remember like that everyone was convinced that they were switching the belts there because no one had really gotten to grips with all the WWE UK stuff.
Yeah.
And like just with being like it was like people were like, oh well, of course they've got to do it soon. He's on. I mean he's on. Yeah.
That's it.
But no, I had a really good time and basically won some tickets or like just found out that someone that I knew like had put on a wrestling show basically on the bus back from that, like through a Twitter conversation, and like the next morning I just like woke up and I was like, hold on, I can do that, and just and like asked this person like what kind of things I would need, and the first one was like a PA. I'm like, oh no, that's so difficult to get. Do you know what I mean? Like they're like, oh, you need chairs and a PA system. I'm like, oh no, what am I gonna do?
I can manage that. What is the biggest challenge logistically?
Fucking everything. In answer to your question, by the way, it was
for that one.
So it was April, May. Fucking hell, surely not. April, May, June.
3 months.
3 months, like 3 months, yeah.
Wow,
that's nuts.
Yeah, I would have thought it would be years in the making, or partly through maybe procrastination and self-doubt, and then eventually just fucking on the garage.
It's just all the different bits you have to get together.
Yeah, 3 months. That is impressive.
I just really wanted to do it, and it just seemed possible, and I think, it seemed possible, and I had there's a lot of stuff I wanted to get out, like in terms of I'm seeing this now, like with everything that I've learned from music in terms about branding and giving people handles on a product and all of this stuff that is always counterintuitively fought against almost, because for me musically I'm quite as an artist sort of hamstrung a little bit by a cross genre kind of interest and a cross genre capability with my singing and stuff. And so what you want to be doing, what you're wanting to express, it's hard to basically fall into a groove of like, this is how this person sings, this is the product, this is what we're selling, here we go, let's go. Whereas like for one reason or another, that groove I'm still finding as an artist. But was never really able to apply those lessons to myself. All this stuff that do you know what I mean? Because I didn't have that product. So having this thing that was removed from me, but then this knowledge of all this cold hard truths that have been battered into me by fucking 10 years of getting and the rest getting swept about by the music industry. It's been really good to like put all this like theory to test, to use basically on something which I guess is why it seems accelerated, because it's a manifestation of a lot of other
of not from scratch.
No.
All your other experience. Okay, cool. And then I mean, obviously, for a first card, you had some pretty big names on there.
Yeah. So basically, sorry, go on. I interrupted you.
Well, no, I was just going to ask how you know, for a brand new show, in a new town, to get the likes of Osprey and the others.
So that was late on. Osprey and Strickland was late. So that was like purely because of that 5-star wrestling shows like tour cancellation.
Okay.
And so they were advertising that they were free and like, you know, just yeah.
Because they do on Twitter, don't they? Often say I'm available for these dates. We're taking bookings and stuff.
Yeah.
So
It's
you
one
have
of
to
those.
be really on it though, like constantly monitoring stuff, talking to agents.
Yeah, it's just all like a super dynamic situation, and especially like before that first show, and just generally, and I don't blame people at all. Like you can't. It's really hard to gain people's trust over the internet, and anyone in a performative career where there's going to be an audience that wants access to you, and or just you know what I'm saying. Like you have to manage your interactions over the internet, and it's like it's obviously it's got less and less challenging to slip through the net, but you got to really expect to be ignored like a lot of the time, and not take that personally. And so in those situations, I don't think I've been in contact with Strickland, but I've been in contact with lots of people that get back to you at a later date, or you come back to them again and not getting embarrassed about it, not being like, oh, I'm not talking to that person, they like ghosted me or whatever. You're just like, don't change their mind, change the offer. Don't be anyway. So I got them through that kind of together, and then previously, like I'd say the biggest names we had on the card that so far before them was CCK, who we had tagging with Kip Sabian against Lion Kid, Chuck Mambo, and Ashley Dunn.
Yeah,
which I think would have been like the main event before getting those guys.
Yeah. Okay.
And yeah, I think in a nice proportional way they kind of boosted ticket sales. It would have been a really good night anyway. But that match actually that they had is something that I'm really looking to get back to. Actually, I think that was arguably the best match we've had.
That's so far.
Yeah.
But you can see clips of that match on.
Yeah, if you go to riptidewrestling.com, you can see highlights of that match.
So you've got the full shows. The last 3 shows are on there.
Yeah, well, Point Break is going up, but it will be. I'm sure by the time. In fact, actually, ladies, dear listener, it's a good opportunity. By that time, I will have sorted out a coupon code for your listeners.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Which will be which I'll have $3 off of a show.
Because I watched the old shows only a couple of weeks ago, just before Point Break. I wish I'd known.
Well, you can put it on Point Break.
Held out, yeah.
Yeah. So, and if it's changed slightly from that, sorry, but I don't. I think that's what it'll be.
Yeah.
I don't know whether I can. It might be. You might be able to get it, to use it, apply it to a rental, and I'd rather, dear listener, if you were applying the coupon than you went for the full download purchase. But I'll leave that with you, and maybe I won't even leave that with you. Maybe I'll be able to work it out. So
yeah, I rented before, so now I'll buy.
Oh, thanks.
There you go.
Thanks, man.
So in between the first and the second show, there was it 3 months?
Yeah. So the first show, was 2 months, I think, just about June to August.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, so basically we had the October show and the December show booked in by the time we'd had the June show, the first show. So we had what would have been the second and third show in October and December, which became the Storm and Blackwater.
Yeah.
But we just basically found that the buzz that we had, and we'd intended to record the whole show, but we hadn't. Our team wasn't quite how we would have liked it at that point. So it was in many ways it was a reshoot, the second one, because we felt that we didn't have enough food for everyone at the party. You know, that wanted to see and hear more from Riptide.
Okay.
So we slipped in the returns in August, just to try and give people, you know, just to consolidate basically the splash that we'd made. Which was cool. And then more or less the same thing happened with Point Break in November as well. That was one that was added in because for other reasons as well. It's so they've both been added in sort of partly because of buzz and being able to provide people with what they want. Yeah. And then they both almost had relatively specific reasons from our point of view for doing them as well. So Returns was to get the video right, how we knew we could. I mean, obviously it's something we're still working on. And but it's getting in finer detail now. We're applying our attention for what we're doing, you know, show upon show. And then the Point Break one, I think, was just about, we wanted to do a show. We'd been doing it for a little bit longer, and obviously the learning curve's been crazy steep. And it was just like, oh, let's have a blank slate to book a show.
Yeah.
Soon as well. Like I wanted that, and then so it was a nice opportunity, and it was nice to have to think of something that made me not worried about the fact that WWE were in town the night before.
Yeah.
And I'm really happy that the match was good as well. That table match.
It was a great match. It was.
Because you don't want a gimmick match to be like, I'd said, like, we want, you know, people would ask me like, oh, are you gonna do like blah blah blah? So I'm like, no, like not until, well, not for the sake of it, not until it means something, you know, blow off a feud or blah blah blah, something like that. It just seemed to make sense in a funny way. But
so did you know that you were going to have Keith Lee, Matt Riddle and Jimmy Havoc, and then you thought, I'm going to do a tables match, or did you have the tables match idea? I mean, assume you Havoc and tables.
Yeah, I kind of took the date because I took it on basically because the getting Keith Lee and the decision to do the date were like taken together. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I was like, okay, and it was going to be a 2 out of 3 falls with Keith Lee and Jimmy Havoc, and Riddle became available at a later date. So I was like, well, okay, I'll do this. Yeah.
I have to squeeze them in somehow.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. I'm gonna shuffle in this idiot.
Yeah.
He was great. He was great.
He really was. Interestingly, we've spoken about the production values a couple of times on our podcast when we briefly reviewed the shows that we've been to. Obviously, it is something that I think makes you guys stand out a little bit compared to some of the others. You mentioned Lucha Underground, obviously, and you were a big fan of that, and watching a lot of that. Obviously, they do things a bit differently. Is that something that inspired you a little bit? Or
yeah, I think it's definitely something that definitely informed me that that there was just stuff out there that just wasn't shit. Like in my, you know what I mean? Like in my, because you watch WWE growing up, and then like maybe you, like I personally, like, you know, grew out of it and then came back to it as an adult kind of thing. And you know, in those fallow years, whenever you see like a WWE product, you're like, I think that's shit.
Yeah.
Because you know, and you see the flaws in it and like blah blah blah. It's a very long wedge to get back into it. I was thinking about this the other day. How many fucking boring authority promos I've sat through, like must have been so lazy to be sat there watching it.
Yeah.
That like it took me such a long time to like what I was watching in the time that I'd started rewatching it. Anyway, so you've got like your TNAs and stuff like that just looking terrible. And it's like, oh great, a budget version of what I don't like anymore.
Yeah.
like that. Fuck, like how's that going to draw in the people that you and I know would fucking love it if they were watching a wrestling show or especially live at a show.
Yeah.
You people can't see anyway. What was the question?
just the sort of the style of the shows.
Oh
the
yeah,
lighting.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely informed by that. So
was that? I wonder how much of that might have been, the guys that you do the guys who shoot it and edit it. Was that you guys all collaborating, or did they just say, "Hey, why don't we do it in this way"?
Yeah, it's
a mixture.
I always wanted it to be a nice, for the audience to be dark as possible.
I hate that on WWE shows where you can see the audience. I like it when it's all pitch black.
Yeah, well, even worse than that is like the fucking sports hall walls, like on independent stuff.
Oh,
God, yeah.
It just takes you out of it completely.
Basketball hoops.
Yeah, man. Like no one's gonna and again back to what I'm really passionate about with this, which is expanding the audience, is that if a wrestling fan shows a non-wrestling fan the coolest move that they know, even maybe from like they knew that they liked WWE in the day and they used to watch it and they know their taste in finishing moves and they're like, you are going to love this move, mate.
Yeah.
And that could be a move that would like really, really turn that guy on and it's just like perfect for him. And he gets given the phone and he gets shown that move and he's watching it and all he can see, he doesn't see the move, he sees the sports hall.
Yeah.
That's all they can see. You're not, that doesn't allow people to watch the wrestling. It's like too hard. It's too hard to watch wrestling.
Yeah, you can't really invest in it, can you?
Yeah, because I think wrestling's at its best when you forget you're watching a wrestling match.
Yeah,
it takes you on this wild journey. You can't pretty caught up with it. But if it's you get to see the sports order rings. You can't get caught up in it.
No, totally. So obviously, I mean, we said Brighton Home Centre is a great place. You just mentioned how you want to expand the audience. That's obviously going to generate more interest. Thousands of people are going to listen to this podcast.
Of course, of course.
So, I imagine tickets are, show-to-show tickets are selling quicker. Or...
Yeah. Really good. Like a record get kind of like there's little records that get broken every time. So it's cool. It's cool.
Do you think it will get to a stage where you will want to try and go somewhere bigger? I mean, it's going to be difficult. Or...
It's tough, man, because venues are really fucking expensive, and
yeah, I suppose
there's that, right?
Yeah, that's a big deal.
And when you hear people like the dudes from Progress or whatever saying similar things about venues being expensive, and you listen to it and you're like, well, whatever, guys, you know, rolling in it, like blah 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 blah. Believe them. Believe them. They're really, really fucking expensive, and wrestling the market value of wrestling is way under what it costs at the moment.
Yeah,
it's really, really underpriced compared to anything else.
Right. Okay.
I was surprised how cheap the tickets were for Riptide.
Yeah.
It'll be doubled.
It's one of those things that it's a difficult situation because you don't, like me personally, like obviously I've got to keep this thing going. I've got to keep this thing afloat.
Yeah.
Any endeavor like this is very vulnerable to things happening out of your control. Like early days, any business, like they can just fucking tank, like because you don't, something happens and you haven't got, there's no money in the business and you can't pay your invoices and you go. Do you know what I mean? So I've got that stuff to worry about, but putting your tickets up is something that obviously I have to do, and will have to continue to do. Something I've done every show, more or less, because I have to, and I should do more. Yeah. But you're either talking casuals that I just want people to. I want to give people the excuse to come, essentially, which is why there's the emphasis on bands, there's the emphasis on the beers, there's the emphasis on the hot dogs, there's the vegan hot dogs.
Yeah.
That there's emphasis on all these other things because it's about empowering people and allowing people to make that decision that we know they won't regret, and actually, they want to make that decision. They want to go to the wrestling night.
Yeah.
But if you're putting prices up too much, then it's like those people aren't going to be interested. But you're like, don't worry, it's fine. The people that travel up and down the country going to watch wrestling, they'll come along. Very, very welcome they are too. But then you don't want to put the prices up too much for them because you know how much money they spend up and down the road spending money on wrestling,
Yeah.
So do you want to milk those people? I mean, if you want to feel like you're milking those people, no, you don't. So it's tough. It's tough, and I know that, and I know that all promoters, I would say, think that have that issue with ticket prices. Like, I mean, I've only ever come up against pushback from myself in terms of ticket pricing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not. We haven't had anyone complain. We've only had people say that they think
John's
it's
just said he'll pay more.
Yeah, well, that's what we've had.
Yeah.
We've been told.
I mean, it's not right on my doorstep. There's not many wrestling shows around.
No, exactly. The money we're saving on
I
training.
mean, the night before the last was that WWE house show in Brighton.
Yeah.
That was £80 a ticket.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous for a house show.
Yeah. It was proper 80 fucking quid a ticket.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. But then you're like, well, oh God. So yeah. I have pushed back on price ranges, but it's myself, and I'd like it that I'd like to keep it that way if possible. I want people to not feel fucking had, like, and the way to make sure people don't feel like they had is like to kind of make people feel like they've had to price things that's a good deal.
Probably a tricky balance as well, because obviously you're not sure how big a wrestling scene there is in Brighton necessarily, so you don't want to overprice it and sort of drive out any, like 50-50 sort of.
It's 50. It's because those are the people that I want. That I want as many people as those kind of people at the shows. Because, like I say, I want people that don't know wrestling's fucking sick yet to know that wrestling is fucking sick.
Yes.
I'm not here to exploit an audience. I'm here to expand it. Like, so that's with the pricing. Yeah.
It seems to me like you definitely doing the right thing in terms of trying to make it accessible and. I mean, one of our mates who came along, his girlfriend has had some health issues recently, and they got in touch with you, I think, to see if they could come in early and get a seat, and you were absolutely cool with that. And I saw some reviews that people had written, people who were saying that they got in touch with you to ask about disabled access and stuff like that. And it just seems like you do go above and beyond to try and make it so anybody can come.
Yeah, it's incredibly important to me.
And you have the PW Girl Gang guys coming, and obviously,
yeah.
they do a lot in that area as well.
It's been delightful working with those guys.
Yeah, I bet. I had a chat with them at the last show. I bought a badge as well. I didn't have any. I'd spent my money on the Riptide t-shirt.
Yay! Yeah. Which ones did you get?
The Point Break one.
Oh, sick. What, did you get a colour or did you get the black?
I got the navy blue one.
Nice.
I considered wearing it today, and I thought maybe a bit too fanboyish.
That's all right.
Yeah. So I imagine now you just sort of want to consolidate a little bit, before thinking about expansion plans. And it sounds like it's going to be quite difficult to expand.
Yeah, I mean, all I want to do is I'm not looking to book towards a big show. I'm not looking to swap homes. Scoop. We've got the first Friday of the month throughout 2018, barring a few exceptions.
Really?
Yeah.
That is a good scoop. That's great. Oh my God, right, I'll have to check my calendar.
Yeah, no show in April because I think I want to go to Mania.
I think you can have a month off to go to Mania.
Mate,
Are you going to do a full travel package?
Nah, I might not go to the big show. I literally want to go to like scout events, basically.
Yeah.
Just go and
suppose you have to look at things through a different perspective nowadays.
Yeah, and just put my brand about a bit, but
that's cool.
but I might not do that because I'm fucking skint and Riptide needs money, so maybe I'll just put my money into Riptide.
Cool. So, what I'd like to do actually is just move away from Riptide for a minute.
Oh, sure.
And we can come back to it at the end and maybe ask you a little bit more about Blackwater and that kind of thing. But when we first started, we did our first podcast a few months back. It was like an intro podcast, and we asked some questions, age-old questions, things like earliest wrestling memory. Can you remember it?
My earliest wrestling memory is not having, as far as I'm aware, like not seeing these men or seeing these wrestlers, but like just knowing who Hulk Hogan and Jake the Snake were. Okay. And that was it. And like, because wasn't able to watch wrestling at home until Sunday Night Heat was on Channel 4. Like, that's the first. Do you know what I mean? Like, and so. It was just I just knew these people. Yeah, must have been that kind of thing. And then it was through like video games that I became more familiar with wrestling, and that's how I learned like loads of like Warzone on the N64. I think was probably the most like detailed, the most comprehensive piece of wrestling media that I'd seen in my life at that point. And then probably through then maybe VHSs, to be fair, and then onto Sunday Night Heat.
Yeah, yours was WrestleMania 3 on VHS, wasn't it? Yeah. One of those massive boxes.
One of those big books, opening up and like 2 VSH tapes.
Quality.
Fucking. It was even mine as my friend Christopher borrowed it from me.
Good old Christopher.
I still watch that WrestleMania 3 loads now. It's a great mania, people. Watch WrestleMania 3. It's great.
Okay. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah. Favourite wrestlers as a kid?
Oh, right. Favourite wrestler. That's a nice one because I did a little while ago. Do you know the Kick Out podcast? It's like Skillet and Ace.
Yes.
Yep. So I did that, and I couldn't talk about Riptide actually. Yeah, it was really irritating. Like I hadn't announced the date, and like I had like an EP dropping, and I had like Riptide, like I wanted to, but I was like nothing had been, and that I was just like, oh guys. Anyway, so the Mount Rushmore is just stressful. It's just stressful. Yeah. So I could just tell you some of my favourite wrestlers. That's way better.
Just go for it.
Kane, man, Kane.
Yeah, he's a controversial one.
How you feel about him coming back?
I don't really watch WWE, so I.
Well, he's back. He's back.
I consume WWE.
Maybe not mine, but
like through podcasts, essentially through listening to what Lance Storm thought of the show, and I kind of know what happens.
Probably the best way, really, because if there's something, a highlight that sounds particularly good, you can go on YouTube and find it.
Exactly.
Sitting through 3 hours of Raw every week.
Yeah, man.
Sound like a busy man.
Oh, man.
3 hours of Raw, 2 hours of SmackDown,
Fuck.
1 hour to 5.
Oh, my God.
I think a good way to hate wrestling is to watch Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I'm doing it. We're doing it a lot more now because of the podcast. I never used to watch this much.
Oh.
Through it.
Yeah. It can be a bit of a tedious task.
Yeah. But yeah, come on then. Who are they?
Oh, well,
your favourites as the kid?
The Rock, Kane.
Yeah.
Loved Scotty 2 Hotty and Grandmaster Sexay.
Yeah.
And fucking Sexay popped for me huge to this day. Well, no, more than it ever did, actually. Yeah.
Really?
Well,
okay.
Sexay.
Okay.
I mean, come on now.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Rikishi,
yep, of course. Well, actually, no. Since what he did to Austin, mate, come on, we don't talk about. We don't talk about
Fine.
it. He did do it for The Rock, though. So.
Yeah. Family.
Those guys, yeah. Hardys, love the Hardy. I always loved Matt Hardy. I always way preferred Matt Hardy.
I think I'm
Oh, definitely Jeff. I think he's still got a singles run in now. I love Jeff.
We'll see if he gets fit again.
What about his shitty drawings? Make me so angry.
Have you seen his sculptures?
They make me so mad. They make me so angry.
Oh, they're mental.
They make me so angry.
He's a weird and crazy guy.
You know when you got like, oh god, it just makes me a bit angry. It shouldn't do. It's me being like a skills snob, but like, I just feel like I wouldn't put it past him to have like a Facebook page like dedicated to like Jeff's fucking cakes, and he's just doing these like stupid cakes that.
He's definitely a strange guy. He's got a music career as well. He's got an album out somewhere.
Yeah, that's awful as well.
I wouldn't recommend it. No.
Do you know what it is? Oh god, but self belief and like it's all that's great, but it's like when you like turn your hand to something and like you're not very good at it, and like you're convinced that you're really good at it.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's thumbs down. I'm giving a thumbs down, listener.
Thumbs down.
You're very good at wrestling, Jeff, and you're very, very entitled to do drawings and sculptures and put them out there and do the music, but don't expect me to think it's good. And I feel like you expect me to think it's good. That's right. That's where it is. Like people are perfectly entitled to do what they want, but don't expect me to think it's good if it's not.
And what about Jeff? Good old Jeff.
Don't at me, Jeff.
We just lost Jeff as a listener. He's been a devotee.
Please do at me, Jeff.
Yeah, at all of us. What about now then? Obviously, you say you don't watch WWE, so most of your favourite wrestlers from the indies, or do you watch any New Japan, or do you watch?
Not really. I mean, bits and bobs. I mean, I haven't been watching a lot of wrestling at all recently. I mean, like the thing is,
editing your own shows, or
all that shit, but to be honest, what I got really passionate about was going to wrestling shows.
Yeah.
So in a lot of ways, I guess you'd say I watch a lot of Rev Pro because I go to a lot of Rev Pro shows. Don't go to that many Progress shows because I never get some fucking tickets. Well, I did buy a season ticket for 2018 because I thought, well, I should go. I should go and do, But yeah, it's really just like live wrestling is what I like. I like going to live wrestling and I like listening to people talk about wrestling.
Cool.
That's how I consume wrestling.
Yeah, nice.
It's such a different beast, isn't it, when you go watch it live compared to watch it like on TV? It's just the atmosphere, you get taken away in it a bit.
It's great.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah. So obviously the next show is Blackwater coming up on December 4th. Is that right? Yeah. Okay, good.
Oh no, it's not at all right. December the 2nd.
Oh dear. What can we look forward to?
So you can look forward to 6-man tag match of full CCK. Yes. Chris Brooks, Kid Lycos, and Travis Banks' Riptide debut.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant.
Yeah. Versus Bird and Boar for their Riptide debut.
Yeah.
Teaming with Jimmy Havoc. It was a match that Jimmy Havoc termed Best Boys versus the Worst Boys.
Sounds about right. Okay.
Really excited about having Bird and Boar. I think they're brilliant. I think they're absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
And Travis, obviously, it's well documented that he's pretty good at professional wrestling.
Good year, yeah.
Very good year.
So excited to have him.
Yeah.
We've got match I'm really looking forward to. Zach Gibson versus Chuck Mambo. I'm very excited about that.
Chuck's obviously a big favourite at the moment as well. You can tell he goes down well at Riptide.
He goes down very, very well, man. They love him.
And I'm sure the crowd will love Zach Gibson too, or maybe not.
Well,
not loves the right
I
words.
think they'll. I certainly think they'll respond to.
Yeah.
Brighton are actually playing Liverpool that day.
Oh really? Oh God! Common seagulls.
Liverpool kit, isn't he?
Yeah, in Brighton. Yeah.
Brighton have to win.
I bet we get tonked.
Yeah. And then we've got the Aussie Open Challenge, of course.
We've got the Aussie Open Challenge.
And of course, at the last show, thinking which team are going to come out, and then we had 3 teams come out.
There was a few teams kicking around. Yeah,
that was a lot of fun.
Oh, watch out, mate!
What?
Might get the 3rd team to come out after you. No, the 4th team. You were talking about how much fun you were having.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So we did have a couple of Riptide debuts. We had an in-ring debut for someone that was already a feature of Riptide in that match.
Shea Purser.
Mr. Shea Purser. Ref Shea Purser.
Yeah.
His
thing with Session Moth.
Doing his thing. Yeah, it's funny, man. Like, you went at the first show, were you? Were you at the first show? So the first show we had Shea that night, reffing, and I don't think anyone in the audience knew that he, wrestled or did, ref spots or anything like that. And there's this incredible footage of someone like because I think it was in the 6-man, he just whatever did a dive, and there's this guy like I feel like the person to like per capita, I think that's the biggest pop we've had. And there was like this guy in the crowd, like legitimately jumping for joy, like actually just like, oh, it was amazing. Like, because that crowd was so rich with, I think, with wrestling fans who'd never been to an indie show.
Yeah, finally there was one.
And finally there was one that they could go to. That's what's surprised me, how much of our audience is that, which is also really delighting as well, actually, that there is a huge latent wrestling market in Brighton, but it's been quite impenetrable with the venuing situation, they couldn't fucking believe it. No, they just blew their minds. Like, I don't think loads of people, I think, at that show wouldn't have been to indie shows, or wouldn't have been familiar with the work that he does at Fight Club Pro and Attack. And
we were talking about, in terms of other big pops. No, it's cool. It just reminded me that before we started recording, we mentioned Jimmy Havoc and something that he did, which you can catch on demand.
Oh, yes, indeed.
At the start of the main event of Point Break and the tables match, and you say it was quite interesting in terms of he actually requests the table.
Yes, so it's I asked him if seemed like a good guy to ask. Like, I was like, cool. So I booked this tables match. Like, I was like, okay, like tables, and he sent me a link to these tables on this website, and like it really makes me laugh, actually, because it's like called like Strictly Tables, Chairs, and blah 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 blah. So it sounds like it's like. And then you exactly, and you see them there, and they're like, and it looks like it's like on a graphic, on a TLC match, but it's not. It's just somewhere that sells fucking chairs and tables, and you're just like, God, I'm an idiot. Like, as if this is what I see when I look at this perfectly innocuous website. Anyway, so I ordered the tables, and I took delivery of the tables, and the minute I was handed over one of these fucking tables, And I just said to myself, going through a table no longer seems like something that would be fun anymore.
Yeah, they looked, well,
they looked pretty solid.
They did. They really did.
They were.
Yeah.
They were pretty solid, yeah.
And we saw that, didn't we?
With a little table that could.
Yeah, exactly. Do you think Jimmy Havoc gets a little cut from that website?
Potentially. I mean, he probably should, shouldn't he? Yeah.
He owns it.
It's probably
the tables
his own business. Excellent. Okay. Well, we'll probably start to wrap things up. That's cool.
Yeah, of course. I just want to shout out Tom West, who works on Riptide with me. He's great. It's great.
What does he do?
He does some stuff on the show days.
Yeah.
If you the on the tickets, you'll see Mr. Tom West probably would have been stamping you, maybe down the queue.
Yeah.
And we the loose term, it is tongue in cheek, ladies and gentlemen. We're not like. He's a booking consultant, Okay. We talk about the booking. We talk about the booking. We talk about stuff, and it's a great, and do the soundboard thing with each other, and
Talk about anything else nowadays?
Oh, no, absolutely not, absolutely not. So just wanted to shout Tom out because he's not here. He's really, really valuable to the organisation, basically.
Tom. And where can people find or keep up to date with everything from Riptide?
RiptideWrestling.com. You can check out, there's free matches, there's some lovely highlights videos, and there's some shows to rent or download. And then other than that, check us out on all socials.
What are you on Twitter?
Riptide Res. So, as if you just were to say Riptide Wrestling, but you stop at the S of wrestling. But just give us a search. That's what I say, really. Yeah, Riptide Rest.
Yeah.
I think Riptide Wrestling on Facebook, maybe Riptide Rest on Instagram.
Yeah.
If you need a handle, Riptide Rest, but otherwise just search Riptide Wrestling and keep listening to these fine gentlemen doing their thing.
Thank you very much. Yeah, do. Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Josh, for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
And actually having us at your place. This is amazing.
No worries.
Thanks very much.
Ribcage first across the apron.
So there we go. Hope you guys enjoyed that as much as we did. Massive thank you again to Josh for having us. It was so cool to go down and visit Josh and chat about Riptide and wrestling in general. Really, really appreciate it. So thank you very much, Josh. You guys may have noticed that we did have a few audio issues in the end. John, in particular, was very, very quiet. We've just decided that John's jinxed, basically, because anyone who listened to our earlier podcasts may well have noticed that there were a few issues with John's sound. We tried a few things. He tried changing the room that he recorded in. He tried trying to sort of soundproof the rooms he was in. And it turned out he just had his microphone the wrong way round. So, silly John. He is jinxed when it comes to microphones. So, sorry about that, but hopefully you could hear him and the rest of us clearly enough anyway. So, yeah, hopefully you're going to now check out Riptide if you haven't already. Josh did mention that he was going to give us a little voucher code to use on their on-demand service, which is seriously cool. So, if you guys want to check out any Riptide shows or you want to rewatch ones that you attended live, then go to www.riptidewrestling.com and enter the promo code HPOTR and you will get $3 off your purchase. So well worth going and having a look. I'm going to be downloading Point Break after this. Thank you so much for listening. If any of you guys are new listeners and have started listening because of the Riptide connection, then please do feel free to go back and listen to our old podcasts. I mentioned to Josh how our first episode involved us asking each other some age-old questions, favourite wrestlers, earliest wrestling memories. We even did some fantasy pay-per-view stuff. So have a listen to that, episode 1, and you'll get another chance to hear John sound dodgy on his mic again. So there we go. We will be back for our Survivor Series review podcast next week. The 4 of us are getting together at John's house on Monday to watch the event. I think we're going to do a little sort of round table initial thoughts record at John's. And then we'll get together later in the day online to go through it match by match. But we're looking forward to that. It's looking good. Shaping up well, I think. Apart from that, we've also got plans for our Christmas quiz episode, which I'm working on. That will come in December. And that is that for now, I think. Please do get in touch with us, hardestpartofthering@gmail.com if you want to email, or hardestpartpod on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. That is pretty much it, I think. We will hopefully bump into some of you at Riptide Blackwater on Saturday the 2nd of December. But until then, it's goodbye from me. And that was the hardest part of the ring.
That is the hardest part of that ring.
For the